Robin and Daniel are a young, childless couple who adopt a black girl named Cathelia. At the orphanage, they're warned that their foster daughter is, to put it mildly, special. For some reason, she doesn't speak, and the previous couple who took her in eventually gave her up. From the very first day in her new home, strange and terrifying things begin happening in Robin and Daniel's house, and it's clear this is no coincidence. Back in the 1980s, when the horror genre was at one of its creative peaks, horror films were much simpler and, let's say, more effective. Filmmakers understood that their movies weren't being made for highbrow aesthetes, but for regular people who'd paid hard-earned cash to get their nerves rattled and maybe sneak some cuddles in the back row of the theater. These days, horror has evolved. Films in the genre now regularly appear in the lineups of the world's most prestigious festivals, and even traditionally straightforward subgenres like slashers are now loaded with metaphors and symbolism. In this regard, The Other feels like a return to the roots. A breath of fresh air for fans who grew up on Tobe Hooper's Poltergeist, William Friedkin's The Guardian, or Frank Henenlotter's Basket Case franchise. It's an extremely simple, but by no means primitive horror film, more like old-fashioned. It's so unusual that at times, you might think writer-director Paul Etheredge is hiding some big trick up his sleeve, about to follow in his contemporaries' footsteps, and reveal some deeper layer packed with the existential horror tropes we've grown used to. That never happens, and whether that's good or bad is up to you to decide. That said, it's important to note that the film is skillfully, solidly made. This isn't some cheap trash where the creators just don't know how to be deep. For Etheredge, who, by the way, hadn't made a film in 16 years before The Other, this old-school approach is clearly a conscious choice, and it informs everything, from the no-nonsense editing to the storytelling style which avoids any drawn-out scenes, ambiguity, or even pauses. Yet, Etheredge doesn't just scare, he tells a functional story about how love, patience, and devotion can conquer any evil. Yes, we've heard that before, but he manages to make you connect with his characters and root for them. The Other doesn't lean too hard into its retro vibe, and on the surface, everything here feels modern. The characters behave in line with today's psychological norms, showing understanding and tolerance toward others, even in moments when it seems like they should just turn and run. Even as a horror film, The Other builds its momentum gradually, but by the finale, it confidently ramps up to trashy, fairly graphic violence. And honestly, that's what's most appealing about it. The fact that someone managed to build a sturdy bridge between two completely different eras, and did it so effortlessly, even elegantly in its own way.